there's a decision coming up that I'm not too happy about. They're stopping support for Windows 10. Now, looking at the history of the Windows operating system, I noticed an odd thing. Every other one is stable. Keep that in mind, every other one. The odd numbers are stable. I mean, I listed them up here. Windows 3.1, stable. Windows 95, no. NT was stable. 98, no. Crashed all the time. 2K was stable. ME was not. XP was stable. Vista was not. 7 was stable. 8, not so much. 10 is stable. It runs. Why should I update to 11 when historically, and I will predict, it ain't going to be stable? It's going to crash all the time. It's not going to work properly. If there's going to be a 12, I'd prefer to wait for it and keep using 10 as long as I can. That's just a short little clip. It's probably going to end up getting tacked onto whatever the next video I make is, but I figured I'd mention that, let you guys know, and yeah, maybe you have an opinion. So my snack supply is well stocked. I gotta come up with something to show you guys for Mechanical Weekend. And I'm running out of ideas, but came up with one. The basic idea of the series is the things I do that aren't either working on e-bikes or sewing, doing projects and stuff. General stuff around the house, you know? So, went through, what have I been doing lately? And the only thing that came up is heat. Heating a garage is not easy. It is an insulated space, but it is not a heated space. It does not tie into the furnace and the rest of the house. That's actually an insulated wall between me and the rest of the house, so I don't get residual heat from there either. As it stands right now, it's, -1 or 1 or 2 below freezing outside. So, outside's about here. Here. Inside, it's about here. So how do I keep it that high? I'll show you what I do. One, previously in this building there was a central vac. The central vac was bolted to the wall here, plugged in here, and a pipe ran through the wall there. The hole's still there. I got a fan and I just ducted it with a plastic bottle, and that draws warmer air in from the furnace room to the rest of the house, or to the garage here. That helps more than a little. The other thing I do also involves a fan, and this tiny little space heater that Mao seems to have claimed as her domain right now. She likes it warm. So in here, even with the door open, it's 20 Celsius, which is about 70 freedom units. In order to get the heat out of here into the rest of the garage, I have a fan blowing cold air from the floor in and pushing the heat out into the rest of the space. It does work. It's not the greatest or most efficient thing in the world, but it does work. And in absolute emergencies, if it's really, really cold, which luckily it hasn't been this year, I have this little folding stove box and a pile of these cans of jellied cooking fuel. which they'll run for about long enough to keep me warm overnight. But they keep the place at a survivable temperature. As you say, even now I wear a hoodie inside in here. Rest of the house is slightly warmer, a couple of degrees. It's not a really well insulated or laid out system for warming a building, and this house was built in the 70s, so it ain't the best put together. But I manage. And I managed to do so without great expense or tons of equipment. You do what you can with what you got, right? So what have I been doing mechanically outside of that? Well, not a hell of a lot. Making sure I have storage. Making sure things are organized and put away when they're supposed to be so I have space to work. Hence that. And that table being cleaned off. That work table has become a pile for storage. Other plans for income I have right now. Pretty simple. This box off of a barbecue. This is all cast aluminum. It is currently filled with bags and chunks of aluminum. That has a destination and a purpose. Scrap aluminum is about $1 a pound. I also have all of my dead batteries for e-bikes. 8 of them over there. They're 71 cents a pound. So one of the reasons I have that trailer is I can haul all that aluminum and all those batteries back to the scrapyard for cash. And the scrapyard happens to be quite close to the farm supply, where I am then going to go with the trailer after dropping off scrap metal to pick up wood pellet bedding for cat litter. I do that at the farm supply instead of the pet store because it's $35 for a bag of that stuff at the pet store. It's $8 for a bag of that stuff at the farm supply. So I go to the farm supply, I spend less than $25, tax included, and let's see, I think I measured it out to 18 weeks worth of cat litter, as opposed to one bag, which is 6 weeks worth of cat litter for $35. Yeah. I had said in previous videos, well, long past now, but I am on the less prevalent end of the economic spectrum, and I figure it's good to give people people who might share my situation a little bit of advice on, how to get things going and keep things going and survive and make it through. Things like dehydrating, keeping stockpiles of dried and powdered things around, keeping your freezer and fridge and cupboards full. It's useful information, especially in the current economic situation in Canada. 41 million people, 15% of whom have to rely on food banks on a regular basis. We can hope for better for the future, but if you hope in this hand and you shit in this hand, which hand's going to be full first? All right, talk to you next time. Oh yeah, I'm going to see if I can sell this doll. I don't know that anyone will want it, but If anybody does, it's for sale. I figure, well, I've got $50 into it on top of the several weeks that I spent doing it, but if I can get more than $50 for it, if I can get $100 for it, I'm happy, you know. But it's for sale. Talk to you next time.